Hey there. Tonight, we're stepping back into a fascinating corner of medieval history, a time when wealth and power carried a hidden curse most never saw coming. So go ahead, dim the lights, maybe switch on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's sink into tonight's story together. And hey, if you're enjoying these journeys through time, a quick like or even a subscribe goes a long way, more than you might realize. I also love hearing where everyone's tuning in from, so drop a comment below with your city and what time it is right now. It's amazing seeing how this little community connects across the world through these stories. All right, congratulations. You've just opened your eyes in the year 1398. Inside a grand stone manor house, deep in the English countryside, morning light filters through narrow windows, streaking across the chamber in long golden beams. You stretch beneath heavy wool blankets, resting on a feather-stuffed mattress, a luxury reserved only for the wealthy. Most peasants sleep on straw pallets, alive with fleas and bed bugs. But not you. You are Lord William Thornbrook, one of the richest nobles in the county. The good news? You're wealthier than most people could ever dream of. The bad news? Your big toe feels like it's being stabbed with a red-hot poker. Even the slightest movement sends waves of agony up your leg. You've been struck again by gout, what physicians call the disease of kings. Your morning begins, as it always does, servants hurrying to your bedside, while peasants have been awake for hours, milking cows and working the fields. You've slept well past sunrise. The head servant, Thomas, approaches with a silver basin filled with rose-scented water for your hands and face. Two younger attendants follow behind, holding your clothing for the day. Fine wool tunics, dyed in rare colors, lined with silk imported from distant lands. "My lord," Thomas says with a polite bow, "the household awaits your command. The steward requests your approval for the feast." You cut him off with a groan. "Send for the physician. My foot. It's the gout again." Thomas's face tightens. He's seen this before, and he knows what's coming. "Right away, my lord." You attempt to sit up, but the motion sends a bolt of pain through your foot so sharp that you gasp. The swelling has returned. Your big toe now looks like a ripe, red plum. It's hot to the touch, and even the brush of a linen sheet feels like pure torture. You sigh bitterly. This is the price of privilege. While peasants suffer from hunger and cold, the nobility faces its own kind of misery. They might envy your feasts, your warm home, your rich garments, but they never see the hidden toll your body pays for such abundance. The chamber door creaks open. In steps Master Gilbert, your physician. Unlike the local healers who treat villagers with herbs and superstition, Gilbert studied medicine at the great university in Montpellier, France. His visits cost more than a peasant earns in a month. But what good is fortune if not to buy the finest care? "My lord," Master Gilbert says, solemnly, setting down his worn leather satchel. "The gout has returned, I see." You grimace, like a bad penny. "What cursed thing did I eat this time?" The physician strokes his gray beard, studying your swollen foot without daring to touch it. The skin is stretched tight and glossy, a deep angry red that speaks of the fire raging just beneath. "As I've said before, my lord," Master Gilbert begins gently, "it's a matter of imbalanced humors. The phlegm, cold and moist, has settled in your joint where it festers and brings pain." He hesitates, as if weighing whether to speak the next part aloud. "But the deeper cause—" Yes, you interrupt, waving a hand impatiently. "My rich foods and wine. The same lecture every time, Gilbert." The physician merely nods, unfazed by your irritation. Indeed, my lord, your body produces too much of the uric humor from the meats, the sweet wines, and the delicacies you enjoy nightly. These corrupted humors crystallize in the cooler parts of the body, most often the feet, as they lie furthest from the heart's warmth. He doesn't need to say the rest. You both know it already. The attacks have been coming more often. Last year, you suffered perhaps 3 bouts. This year, it's already your 4th, and autumn has only just begun. Each time the pain lasts longer, each recovery takes more from you. You've seen other nobles reduced to hobbling wrecks, their toes and fingers twisted and knotted, the skin beneath dotted with hard, chalky lumps the physicians call tophi. It's the cruel irony of privilege. While peasants toil from dawn until dusk, their bodies toughened by labor, nourished only by simple fare, you enjoy feasts of roasted meats and rich sauces that quietly poison your joints. Master Gilbert opens his worn satchel and begins laying out glass vials and small bundles of herbs. "I have brought several remedies, my lord," he says. "First, a poultice to draw out the heat and swelling." From his bag, he produces dried herbs, meadowsweet, willow bark, and a few others known for easing inflammation. These will be ground and mixed with wine vinegar into a paste. Applied to your joint, it should bring blessed relief. He pauses, then adds, "And for the pain, a tincture of poppy." You recognize a small dark bottle instantly. It's the most precious medicine in his collection, distilled from poppy seed pods grown in faraway lands. A few drops can dull even the fiercest pain, but you also know the danger it carries. Too much, and the mind grows foggy. Used too often, it breeds a hunger that consumes a person from within. You have known nobles who fell into that trap. Their fortunes drained away, their minds dulled, their days spent chasing the numbness that poppy tincture once gave so easily. "I've also brought autumn crocus," Master Gilbert continues, lifting a small pouch with care. Byzantine physicians found it useful against gout. It must be measured precisely. Too much brings sickness, and worse. But the right dose can shorten the course of your suffering. Neither of you realize it yet, but this simple herb, the autumn crocus, contains what future doctors will call colchicine, one of the few truly effective treatments for gout. The Byzantine healers discovered it centuries ago, passing the secret through generations without ever knowing exactly why it worked. As Master Gilbert sets to work, grinding herbs with a small mortar and pestle, you turn your gaze toward the window. Beyond the glass lies your vast estate, miles of fields and forests, villages filled with peasants laboring beneath the pale autumn sun. You collect their taxes, send soldiers to guard them, and settle their disputes. In return, they provide the wealth that sustains your comfort. Outside, men swing scythes through the ripened wheat, their movements steady and strong. Women gather and bind the golden stalks into bundles, while children scamper through the fields, gleaning the fallen grains. Their motions are practiced, efficient, bodies forged by years of unending work. And as you watch them, a strange thought crosses your mind. Perhaps, in some ways, their simple hardships are easier to bear than yours. None of those workers out there, you think wryly, have ever known the sting of gout. "Here, my lord," Master Gilbert says softly, drawing your attention back. "Drink this first." He offers a small cup filled with a dark liquid. The bitter tang of poppy coats your tongue as you force it down. Soon, that familiar warmth will creep through your body. softening the edges of your pain, a fragile piece in a sea of discomfort. Next comes the poultice. Gilbert carefully spreads the herbal paste over your swollen toe and wraps it in clean linen. The coolness seeps through your skin, bringing a brief, blessed relief. The autumn crocus I've mixed with wine, he explains, handing you another cup. Drink slowly. It may upset your stomach for a time, but the feeling will pass. You obey, grimacing at the strange, earthy taste. Then you sink back into your pillows, waiting for the medicine to work its quiet magic. Rest now, my lord, Gilbert advises, his tone gentle but firm. No rich dishes today. Barley water, a little bread, perhaps some boiled chicken without the skin. I'll return this evening to see how you fare. As he begins to pack away his vials and tools, you motion to Thomas, who's been standing silently near the door. See that Master Gilbert receives his fee. The physician bows low and departs, leaving behind only the faint scent of herbs and vinegar. Through the narrow window, the sounds of harvest drift in, the steady swish of scythes cutting through golden wheat, the laughter and shouts of workers, and a faint melody rising from the fields. Their lives, you reflect, are harsh in ways you'll never know. The constant anxiety of empty cupboards, the fragility of health, the endless grind of physical labor that breaks a body before its time. Yet here you lie, in your fine bed, surrounded by luxury, undone by pain born from abundance. It strikes you, almost humorously, as a kind of balance, the universe's quiet reminder that no one, not even the rich, escapes suffering. Wealth can shield you from hunger, from cold, from toil, but not from the failings of flesh. The poppy's warmth deepens. Your thoughts grow heavy, muffled, like they're being wrapped in cotton. As you drift towards sleep, a question flickers in your mind. Is gout truly the worst burden of privilege? Or is it simply the body's way of mirroring a deeper truth, that excess, however enviable it seems, always carries its own punishment? When you finally wake, the light in your chamber has changed. The sun has traveled far across the sky. Afternoon shadows stretch long across the stone floor. The agony in your foot has eased from unbearable fire to a dull, persistent throb. The medicines have done their work, at least for now. Thomas enters quietly, carrying a tray. Barley water and bread, my lord, just as the physician ordered. The barley water is bland. The bread, plain and coarse by your usual standards, would be considered fine fare by your tenants. Your regular meals are feasts, roasted meats bathed in rich sauces, game birds, fish on fasting days, sweet pastries dusted with sugar imported from far-off lands. Each dish is not merely food. It's a declaration of status, of wealth, of power, and yet, that very abundance is what has led you here. The human body, you realize, was never meant for such luxury, not when paired with the idle life of nobility. The peasants who labor in your fields eat simply, grains, vegetables, and an occasional scrap of meat. Their bodies burn what they consume. Yours hoards it, turning indulgence into poison. My lord, Thomas says hesitantly, breaking your thoughts. The steward awaits instructions for tomorrow's feast. The merchant from London has arrived with the spices you requested. Tell him to proceed as planned. You interrupt, your tone weary but decisive. Thomas bows and withdraws, leaving you once again alone with your thoughts and the faint, familiar ache in your foot, a quiet reminder of the price you continue to pay for a life of privilege. But I want simpler dishes on the table, you tell Thomas. Less meat, more fish, and tell the kitchens to ease up on the wine and the sauces. Thomas looks momentarily startled but quickly bows. Yes, my lord. And shall I inform the guests that you're unwell? You pause to consider. Tomorrow's feast is meant to honor a visiting baron, a man whose alliance could prove invaluable. To be absent might seem discourteous, even weak. No, you decide after a moment. I'll attend, have a chair prepared, one with cushions for my foot, and fetch my walking staff. When Thomas departs, you carefully swing your legs over the edge of the bed. The movement rekindles a flicker of pain in your toe, but it's bearable now, just enough to remind you it's still there. Slowly you rise, keeping your weight off the afflicted foot, and limp toward the window. From here, you can see the inner courtyard, bustling with activity. Servants hurry back and forth, preparing for the great feast. A cart creaks beneath the weight of ale barrels being unloaded. Thin trails of smoke twist up from the kitchens, where cooks labor over dishes that need hours of careful preparation. It's staggering, you think, how much effort goes into sustaining a life like yours. Dozens of people working tirelessly so that you and your family can live in comfort and maintain the appearance your rank demands. Perhaps this, too, is one of wealth's hidden burdens, the endless need to display it. Your table must overflow with food. Your clothes must outshine those of your peers. Your home must awe every visitor who crosses its threshold. Anything less would whisper of decline. And in your world, perception is everything. So you spend lavishly, feast grandly, and your body suffers quietly in return. You think of King Henry IV, plagued so cruelly by gout that some days he can neither walk nor ride. Yet even he continues to indulge, bound by the same expectations that chain you. The disease of kings, indeed, a mark of privilege that becomes its own gilded prison. As evening falls, Master Gilbert returns, right on time. He examines your foot closely, nodding in approval at the reduced swelling. The remedies have done their work, he observes. The worst is over, but my lord, he hesitates. You already know what's coming. Less rich food, less wine. You finish for him. More walking, more water. Gilbert smiles faintly. Precisely. And avoid the worst offenders. Liver, kidneys, sweetbreads. Limit the game birds and cut back on the sweet wines. His advice is sound, drawn from generations of careful observation. They don't yet understand the chemistry behind it. That knowledge lies centuries in the future. But through experience, physicians like Gilbert have learned the truth. Certain indulgences invite certain suffering. I'll try, you promise, though you both know how hollow that vow may sound. Your social world revolves around the very feasts that feed your illness. To abstain is to step back from the gatherings that build alliances, seal marriages, and display your influence. After the physician departs, the door opens softly, and your wife, Lady Elenina, enters the chamber. Unlike you, she's been awake since before dawn, overseeing servants, checking accounts, and ensuring the vast machinery of the household runs without flaw. William, she says, sitting gently on the edge of your bed, how are you feeling? Better, you admit. Gilbert's remedies have helped. She sighs and takes your hand in hers. This is the second attack this month. You must take better care of yourself. Her tone isn't scolding. It's weary, practical. Lady Elenina, born to nobility herself, understands the pressures of your position. She knows the delicate balance between maintaining status and preserving health. Yet she also sees the toll it's taking, both on your body and on the world that depends upon you to keep functioning within its rigid expectations. The feast tomorrow, Lady Elenina continues. I've already spoken to the cooks. They'll prepare a separate plate for you. Simpler dishes, nothing that will aggravate your gout. You can still sit at the high table, fulfill your duties as host, and stay comfortable. You smile, tiched by her thoughtfulness. This, right here, is why you married her. Not just for the alliance between your families, or the lands and dowry she brought, but for her intelligence and her quiet, steady care. Thank you, you say softly. I've been thinking, perhaps we should change the way we eat altogether. Not only during my attacks. She raises an eyebrow, amused. Like the monastics? Plain food and prayer? You laugh, then wince as the motion jolts your foot. Not quite that severe, you say. But maybe more fish, more vegetables, fewer heavy sauces, less of those sweet wines. Lady Elenina tilts her head thoughtfully. It would save money, she muses, and perhaps even set a new fashion. You know how the other nobles love to imitate you. She's right. As one of the wealthiest and most respected lords in the county, your habits ripple outward, copied at court, whispered about among the elite. If you begin eating more simply, others might follow. And for many of them, that would be a welcome relief, a chance to spend less, to feast less, to breathe more easily beneath the crushing expectations of noble life. We'll try it, you decide, after tomorrow's feast. As night falls, servants enter quietly, lighting candles around the room. Their soft glow fills the chamber with a golden warmth. These wax candles, another small symbol of wealth, burn cleanly and smell faintly sweet. Most peasants never see such light. When darkness falls, they sleep, and if they must stay awake, they use rushlights, reeds dipped in animal fat, flickering and smoky. Your candles, made from pure beeswax, are yet another reminder of the distance between your life and theirs. You think of that difference now. The peasants who rise with the sun, labor until exhaustion, eat plain meals of bread and pottage, and sleep on straw mattresses in cottages open to the wind. And then there's you, waking when you please, surrounded by servants, negotiating politics and land instead of swinging a scythe. You dine on delicacies your body can hardly handle, and sleep on feathers wrapped in fine linen. Their hardships are constant and physical. Hunger, exposure, sickness. Yours are quieter, but no less real. Pain, indulgence, and the endless demands of status. And in that thought lies a strange kind of wisdom, perhaps the only gift your suffering has to offer. That no life, no matter how privileged, is without its trials. That the human body knows no rank. That excess, no matter how admired, will always demand its price. You lean back against the pillows, your foot still throbbing, but tolerable now, and make a quiet promise to yourself to find balance, to hold your position without letting it destroy your health. It won't be easy, not in a world where wealth is measured by how much you consume. But if anyone has the power to change that, it's someone like you. Tomorrow will bring the feast, and with it, temptation. But perhaps the day after will bring something new, the first step toward a wiser way of living. Because the worst curse of wealth in the medieval world isn't the gout itself. It's the golden cage of expectation, that beautiful, suffocating prison that keeps you bound to the very habits that harm you. And yet, even golden cages have doors, if one has the courage to find them and step through. Morning arrives quietly. A pale sun struggles through the mist that hangs over your estate. You wake to find your foot improved, still tender, still swollen, but the fiery pain that ruled yesterday has faded, and for the first time in many days, you feel the faint, fragile peace of hope. Master Gilbert's remedies have done their work, especially the autumn crocus, which seems to shorten the length of these dreadful attacks. Today is the day of the feast, and despite your condition, you must attend. Your status demands it. In medieval society, reputation is everything, more valuable than gold, more enduring than the thickest stone walls. One hint of weakness, one whisper of failure, and rumor spreads through the nobility like wildfire. Those whispers can cost you alliances, jeopardize your children's marriages, even reach the king's ear. So you rise. Thomas and another servant help you dress, carefully, reverently, in your finest garments, a tunic of deep blue wool from Flanders, embroidered at the collar and sleeves, a belt with gleaming silver buckles, snug hose, and soft leather shoes, specially altered for your swollen toe. The left shoe has been slit and widened, the added leather forming a small pocket where your afflicted joint can rest without pressure. My walking staff, you remind Thomas. He hurries to fetch it, polished oak, topped with a silver knob. It's meant as a symbol of authority, but today it will serve a far more practical purpose. You make your slow descent down the cold stone stairs of your manor house. Each step is a careful negotiation between dignity and pain. Below, the great hall is alive with movement. Servants scatter fresh rushes across the floor, mixing them with herbs, sweet-scented plants that will release their fragrance as they're crushed beneath hundreds of feet, a simple way to mask the smell of a crowded room. Trestle tables are being arranged in long rows, with the high table on its raised platform at the far end. Your rightful place beside the honored guests, your steward Henry approaches with a respectful bow. Unlike Thomas, who tends to your personal needs, Henry oversees everything: the servants, the supplies, the accounts. He's the mind that keeps your estate running. My lord, he says, preparations are nearly complete. The Baron's party was sighted on the road. They should arrive within the hour. The kitchens report that all dishes are proceeding as planned. Good, you reply, leaning slightly on your staff. And the special arrangements we discussed? Yes, my lord. Your chair at the high table has been cushioned with a stool for your foot, and Lady Elenina has given instructions to the kitchen concerning your meal. You nod with satisfaction. These small accommodations will let you fulfill your duties without worsening your condition. That is the balance of noble life, forever walking the line between expectation and endurance. Then, from outside, the blare of horns. The Baron's party has arrived, sooner than expected. You straighten, tighten your grip on the staff, and steady yourself. The pain in your foot is now a dull throb, manageable if you move with care. You and Lady Elenina step out into the courtyard to greet your guests. She walks beside you, resplendent in a gown of deep green, her gold-embroidered belt catching the light, a delicate network of golden chains resting on her hair. Together you project the image that must always be maintained: prosperity, grace, power. The Baron's retinue rides in with a clatter of hooves and the flutter of bright banners. Baron Radcliffe himself dismounts with a grunt. A burly man in his 40s, face flushed from both wind and wine. His clothes are rich, though travel-worn. He lands heavily on his feet and straightens with effort. and for a fleeting moment, you recognize in his stiff movements the same affliction that plagues you, the silent toll of noble living, yet, like you, he conceals it beneath ceremony and pride. Lord Thornbrook, the Baron bellows, striding forward with arms wide open. How good it is to see you again. You step forward to meet him, careful to put as little weight as possible on your afflicted foot. Baron Radcliffe, you reply warmly. Welcome to my home. We're honored by your presence. The formal greetings unfold, deliberate, ceremonial, each word serving its purpose. The Baron's family, his attendants, and his guards are all acknowledged in turn, each according to rank. These rituals matter. In this world, hierarchy is everything, the invisible scaffolding that holds society together. Who sits where? Who speaks first? Who defers to whom? Every gesture reinforces the order that keeps chaos at bay. Once, the Baron's company is led to their chambers to wash away the dust of travel. You return to the great hall to oversee the final preparations. Your foot throbs with each step. The pain is sharper now, demanding your attention, but you bury it deep behind the practiced composure of a nobleman. In this world, to show pain is to show weakness. The great hall has been transformed. Fresh linens drape the long trestle tables. Wooden trenchers are laid neatly at each place. Silver cups gleam at the high table, while guests of lesser rank will drink from horn or polished wood. A new layer of rushes carpets the floor. Crushed underfoot, they release the soothing scent of meadowsweet and lavender, blending with the faint aroma of roasting meats drifting from the kitchens. Servants dart about, adjusting placements, refilling jugs, polishing the last bit of silver. The steward, Henry, moves among them like a conductor guiding a well-rehearsed orchestra. Calm, efficient, precise. You make your way to the high table, where your modified chair awaits. Testing it carefully, you ease yourself down. The cushions cradle your back, and beneath the table's draped edge, a small stool allows you to rest your swollen foot in discreet comfort. It's a small mercy, but one you're deeply grateful for. From here, you can perform your duties, host, lord, symbol of strength, without betraying the truth of your discomfort. A messenger from the kitchens bows low. My lord, the first courses are ready. You nod. Good. Send word to Baron Radcliffe and the other guests. The feast will begin shortly. As the servant hurries off, you take a deep breath. The pain pulses quietly in your foot, but you straighten your shoulders and compose your expression. Soon the hall will fill with laughter, music, and the clatter of plates, and you, despite the ache that gnaws beneath the table, will smile, toast, and play your part as the gracious host. And so, Lord Thornbrook endures another feast. The laughter, the wine, the endless performance of wealth and power. Yet, beneath the silks and silver lies a quiet truth. Even the richest lords are prisoners of their own excess. Gout may pain the body, but pride consumes the soul. In the end, every luxury has its price, and every golden crown carries its weight.